What next for the global economy? Thank you for joining us for another Bank of Cardiff newscast. With businesses poised for news of an interest rate rise this month, the world's economy seems to be pulling in two directions. A gentle nudge from 0.25% to 0.5% may not seem like a major move for the Federal Reserve, but it's a move that would have sparked anxiety a year or so ago and will mark the transition towards a more optimistic outlook in the US. The US has now established a steady growth trajectory. One central bank boss, Janet Yellen, obviously feels the US can sustain a modest rate rise without destabilizing the economy. Abroad, Japan is pressing ahead with its own brand of government spending and business reform designed to stimulate economic growth, while some believe that China's slowdown may have reached its lowest point. In Europe, most countries are witnessing signs of a modest recovery, especially in the United Kingdom. But is there a fly in the economic ointment? Despite the positive progress of the US and UK and the general belief that, although not yet in full swing, a global recovery is on the cards, some economists are concerned that the predicted rise in US interest rates won't necessarily be the tonic needed to increase the pace of recovery, and that the Eurozone, Japan, China, and BRIC countries are still far from picking up. It could be argued that far from leveling out, China's slowdown may continue to gain pace, with the only tool at the government's disposal, if it is to retain anything like its 7% GDP, the continued devaluation of its currency. Unfortunately, the devaluation of the yuan, added to the downward pressure on the Japanese yen, is confounding the European Central Bank's strategy of extended devaluation against its main trading partners. Although the euro is low compared to the dollar and pound, its struggle with the floundering Asian currencies means that Europe's exports, especially from countries suffering the most from the aftermath of the crisis, are becoming increasingly expensive with some of their biggest trading partners. If the devaluation continues, it will result in a race to the bottom, a scenario no economy would want. The Eurozone in particular will need continued monitoring and intervention, something ECB boss Mario Draghi will have to factor into his calculations for 2016. Meanwhile, despite a recovering economic outlook, the Bank of England has remained cautious, keeping interest rates unchanged for the fourth quarter this year. If the central banks can maintain the right balance, in concert with low fuel prices and rising wages, next year could yet herald the start of a genuine recovery. Join us later this week for another Bank of Cardiff newscast, and remember that all of our newscasts are available on our website www.bankofcardiff.com/newscasts.